All right, settle in. Grab your favorite craft coffee or that evening tea. Personally, I like a hottie toddy myself, with a splash of. I used to do what was that? I used to do like Grand Marnier, but I've the Fireball in your tea, that cinnamon, lovely. Tonight we are diving into a project that feels like a warm, soulful embrace. We're talking about the stunning collaborative album called Pages from the powerful duo of actor, poet Omari Hardwick and the legendary soul singer Anthony Hamilton. Omari on this joint, best known for his role as Ghost on the TV show Power. He's always been a poet at heart, with an artistic fire that burns as fiercely as his screen presence, right? Paired with Anthony Hamilton, neo soul legend. That grit mixed with this honey soaked voice that is been the cornerstone of modern soul for over a decade, um, is coming together to give us this unexpected but instant classic um project. Once you hear it, you just know it. You didn't see it on paper, you didn't think it made sense, but once you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, this should have been happened. The album has received, by the way, a nomination, Grammy nom, for best spoken word poetry album. That's how I came across it. I saw the list and I listened to all the albums on there, and there's some good ones. There's some really good ones on there, and having listened to all the different projects on there, this one really stood out to me. I don't know necessarily if it's gonna be a winner. I don't know what the Grammy judges are looking for when they judge. Like I've come to terms with what they look for in hip hop, although it's going to be a little bit different now that they have some different rules, which is why we have some interesting nominations for the different categories now. But the general rules of voting are a little bit different. So um it's a little bit more authentic and a little bit more true to the art that they're judging, the people that are in the different categories. So I don't know exactly how they judge best spoken word, but this one really stood out to me. I don't know if it's gonna win. I don't know if I would put my yeah, I wouldn't put my money on it because I don't exactly know how, like, the parameters of how they judge spoken word projects, but this one is some good stuff. Pages is raw. It's intimate. These conversations that Hardwick is having, it feels like um that it's emotionally charged. It feels like it's cohesive. It feels like Anthony Hamilton is the great a great pairing for this. Again, this isn't nominated for best soul album or R&B or progressive R&B or anything like that. This is for spoken word. So mostly Hardwick does the heavy lifting when it comes to that. The production on Pages stands out um, because it's masterful use of space and restraint. If you're going to be spoken word, we need to hear the poetry. The producers allow tracks to breathe, pulling back on these sparse moments where only Amari's crackling voice or Anthony's raw ad libs remains. Warm bass lines. There's this seamless integration of the spoken word and song, which elevates the whole listening experience through effortless transitions. Amara's poetry builds narrative scenes that melt naturally into Anthony's choruses, transforming thoughts into feelings without it feeling like, oh, there's a jarring shift that's happening. It transforms these thoughts into feelings. This fluid approach combined with intimate production choices gives Pages a cohesive sound that both um, that both comes across as contemporary but classic nonetheless. This is a classic album, and you know Anthony Hamilton could easily put this as part of his like catalog, and it wouldn't miss a beat. The structure of the album is it talks is like these recurring pages. So the first track is called entry page, and there's page one, page two, um, and you know, and the motif carries throughout, and even in the lyrics, in the words or the prose, I guess that that Omari is spitting on this, you know, stays on brand, stays on theme. It makes it less of about individual radio style singles, and more about chapters in a cohesive story. Page one, you know, is actually the second track on this thing. The entry page is the first one, entry page. So it's kind of like an introduction. But page one is the first full track. And this one is about 4 minutes and 37 seconds long. So you get a bit of chance to breathe. You get a chance like everything is over. Everything is generally Everything is generally over 3 minutes. You'd have a couple interludes and a couple little parts in there that are a little bit shorter because of where they're placed in the project. For example, the outro final page, but everything gets a chance to breathe. Everything gets explored on this, right? This song, page one, is Hardwick reflecting on the beginnings and origins of things, the opening of a personal or emotional chapter, while Hamilton's soulful voice underscores the emotion, giving the music weight to the poetry that is sort of like medicine with the candy sort of thing, right? If you're not used to listening to a spoken word project, you got some music to kind of like lull you into submission. And you should submit for this thing, right? You got to. It can be a little weird because it's not rap. It's not rap. I know that because it rhymes and because it's got the particular cadence that sometimes it feels like there's some stuff on here where I feel like Amari really tiptoes on the line where it's like, it sounds like you're trying to rap. It sounds like you rapping. Get over like, but then like he doesn't fully cross the threshold, and so you can forgive him for that, and you can like go on into, but like Anthony kind of like lulls you into um a comfortable space because you're used to hearing his voice and doing what he does, that you can then accept Amari when he goes in and he spits his lines. The first page, it feels like a moment that you open up a journal, right? You open up this journal, it sets the tone, it gives you context, and it's the emotional stakes and all of that, of what's to come and what's to follow after that. Why the page bird stings is the 12th track on this 18 track project. It deals with pain, deals with the difficulties associated with putting one's experiences into words. Why the Page Bird Sings focuses on healing, uplifting, and transformative narrative. This this track, think about it. Like when you, I've written before where you write and you let it spill all out, and you know what I'm talking about when it's like there's tears on the page, right? And you go back and read it, and the page is a little bit warped, and you're like, man, I was in a particular space in that thing, and like it stings when you read it back. Sometimes you grow from that, right? Later on, and then you look back and like, man, that past version of myself was going through it, right? And so this is that kind of track. Why the Page Bird Stings. Definitely, if you're gonna listen to anything on this, that's gotta be one of the ones you check out. Within this album's continuous narrative, this track definitely marks a shift from pain and struggle um, towards a hopeful joy found in self-reflection and then like manifesting growth, not just hoping for it, not just working through it, but like manifesting it and like demanding that it happens. A main takeaway after experiencing this joint is this is more than an album. It's vulnerable, it's soulful, it's an experience that redefines masculinity in a way that can be healthy. It can be reflective and deeply emotional. Just because it's emotional doesn't mean it's not rational. Emotion can have a rational basis. Being aware of that is not a flaw, it's not a shortcoming. Being emotionally intelligent is a virtue. And that's what they're speaking to on this project. It invites listeners to turn the page on their own lives and examine the stories with written their own stories. It creates an introspective and warm atmosphere, perfect for late night contemplation. Uh, you're by yourself. It demands your full attention. If you're gonna let this be the background music to your own reflection, a quiet evening by yourself, uh, not necessarily a group listen sort of thing. Let Amari's words sink in and let Anthony's voice wash over you from start to finish, allowing you to embrace that space. I would say it's like therapy. It's a therapeutic journey. It's a flawless collaboration that deserves um, your um, you're listening intentionally and with care. I hope the Grammys give it its fair shake. Uh, it could potentially win Best Spoken Word Project. I would not be surprised.